Moving on more broadly to foreign interference, in ASIO's annual report last week, the Director General said that foreign interference and espionage have supplanted terrorism as their principal security concern, which is consistent with evidence that Mike Burgess has given to this committee and elsewhere, that we're on a trend for it to supplant it. Does the AFP share that assessment of ASIO?
We note that assessment from ASIO.
Yep. Commissioner, you've told this committee in the past, on the 14th of February specifically, foreign interference is an insidious and resource-intensive crime, and one that I expect will continue to grow and converge with other crime types in Australia. But the AFP, ASIO and other partners have the technical expertise and legislative framework to arrest and bring offenders to justice. How many people have been charged under the espionage and foreign interference legislation since it was introduced in 2018?
One.
One person's been charged.
Yes.
Are there any current active investigations under the EFI legislation?
There's ongoing investigations, Senator.
How many?
I'm not prepared to enter into how many's the numbers of those investigations.
And again, just for the record, why can't you go into the number?
Well, it's a sensitive area of work, and we're not going to flag how many investigations we've got ongoing.
Okay. What I'm trying to reconcile in my mind is statements from ASIO consistent with statements that you've made about the seriousness and the level of espionage and foreign interference activity. ASIO has previously said it's the highest levels in Australian history, even higher than at the height of the Cold War. With the fact that only one person has been charged in 4 years under the Act, how can both of those things be true? Wouldn't we have expected to have seen more charges under the legislation if it was at those high levels?
As you're probably aware, they're incredibly complex. There's a difference between intelligence and evidence, and we have to collect evidence. Our I guess, targets are alive to a lot of, they have a lot of skills with how to subvert police investigations, the methods that we use, a whole range of things. So as far as degree of difficulty, they are the hardest, most difficult and most complex investigations given the country-to-country issues. How do you prove that someone is acting in that way? Very challenging given the fact that they were actually trained in how to avoid not only detection, but how do you avoid committing a criminal offence. So they're very challenging investigations, but we're learning a lot about our environment in this area. And again, they are resource intensive, but we do have a great working relationship. The task force with ASIO, in my view, is world class. It's just not easy to charge these people with criminal offending. What I think ASIO have done magnificently well is provide us that advice and intelligence, and then where we've been able to use evidence. I think it's a significant achievement having someone charged. And again, that matters before the court. And indeed, when that comes out, I think everyone will understand how complex these matters are and what we have to prove.
Yeah, and I do appreciate the complexity. Are there any legislative or barriers? Is there any deficiencies in your view in the Act that has made your task harder? Would there be any changes to the Act that would make it easier to bring charges?
I think it's very difficult because we would probably say that in that particular crime type, I don't know how you would make it easier without it then being challenged down the track. And it's probably a matter for my learned friend on my right here, but we certainly wouldn't get involved in changing the Act or anything like that. That is, we could provide advice, but so far for us, we've been successful in laying that charge with DPP. So I think we'll reassess that pending the outcome of that particular matter. You mentioned, Commissioner McCartney, that there's a number of investigations that are active at the moment under the legislation. Should we expect that there will be further charges under the legislation?
I think we'll let those investigations take its course, Senator. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Okay. All right, well, I might return to that after we have a result from that pending case before the courts at a later date.